No word on the status of the tariff tiff between the U.S. and Canada. Nearly 350,000 Venezuelans protected from deportation with work permits under temporary protected status will lose those protections in April, says Department of Homeland Security. Meeting with investigators in Philadelphia on the deadly crash of the medical flight Friday, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
The black box was recovered. That was a voice recorder box. We don't have a data recorder on this aircraft.
7 people were killed, 24 others injured. Ugandan officials have begun the first clinical trial ever of a vaccine against the Sudan strain of Ebola that has killed 1 person in the outbreak declared last week. That from a top official of the World Health Organization. You're listening to ABC News.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, all natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available in both tablets and as a delicious gummy. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Panama watched a repatriation flight take off carrying Colombian migrants back to Colombia.
This is an effective way to stem the flow of illegal migration, of mass migration, which is destructive and destabilizing. And it would have been impossible to do without the strong partnership we have here with our friends and allies in Panama.
Secretary Rubio claims about 6 of the 43 Colombian nationals on the charter flight had criminal records. It's been a wet few days in Northern California due to an atmospheric river. Another is arriving this week, will stretch down into fire-ravaged Southern California.
In the Sonoma County wine country, a weekend of heavy rain brought flooded roads, and trees came down on some homes. Michelle Lee was trying to drive on roads along the Russian River, and it was a no-go.
There is an enormous amount of flooded water coming through. The vineyards are all flooded. The road is flooded.
And now the next system arriving will dip a bit south, bringing much-needed rain to Southern California as well. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
More than 200 earthquakes on the Greek island of Santorini were recorded in the area over the past 3 days. While all the quakes were a magnitude 4.5 or below, officials are encouraging people on the island to avoid large gatherings and remove non-structural vulnerabilities, as they say in their buildings. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday afternoon, February 3rd. The Port Angeles Chamber of Commerce hosted a spectacular gala Saturday night celebrating the achievements of local businesses and community leaders. All the nominations were made months ago by the public, and a panel of community members judged it. And then they named the winners on Saturday. The Business of the Year Award was presented to Swain's General Store. For 66 years, Swain's has been a place where neighbors come together, where tradition meets generosity, and where giving back is at the heart of everything they do. And they've also established the Swain's Family Foundation, when the store has contributed more than $650,000 to local charities. Danny Steiger was named Citizen of the Year. He's the CEO of Lumber Traders and has overseen major redevelopment projects with the company, but also serves on various boards and commissions advocating for solving the affordable housing crisis locally. First Step Family Support Center was the Organization of the Year. From providing food, clothing, books, and toys to counseling for parents and substance abuse support, First Step's been dedicated to helping underprivileged families thrive locally. Its impact last year alone included 1,790 families receiving direct support, 283,000 diapers distributed to more than 900 families, and a growing team of 34 advocates, nurses, case managers, and specialists who continue to reach more families every year. Ridgeline Home Health was named the Emerging Business of the Year. It opened 4 years ago, and since then, Ridgeline has made an impact on the lives of seniors locally, filling a critical gap in home-based care while pioneering a new model of caregiving. Unlike traditional agencies, the business is owned and operated by its caregivers, ensuring that those providing care have a voice in the decision-making. Jason Gooding was named the Educator of the Year. For the past 11 years, Gooding has been a pillar of support for students, families, and educators across the Port Angeles School District. He's a school counselor now and has helped students navigate the challenges of academics, personal growth, and planning for the future. And Rose Thompson was named the Young Leader of the Year. From serving as the executive director of the Dungeness Crab Festival to her work with the Wanda Fuca Festival, the Waterfront District, and the Fungi Fest, Thompson's been instrumental in ensuring that the local economy and culture flourish, at the same time running her own businesses locally. KONP Radio celebrating 80 years on the air today, marking a long history of providing local service to the North Olympic Peninsula. Our station began broadcasting on February 3rd, 1945, after an 8-year effort started by the Port Angeles Evening News to bring an AM radio station to the city. Wartime restrictions delayed Federal Communications Commission approval, and that pushed the launch of KONP to after World War II. Originally a music station, KONP eventually shifted to a news and talk format in the mid-1990s, and now we air plenty of local and national news, lots of high school sports, weather, and community updates. We're an ABC affiliate still, and the station broadcasts regional and world news along with Seattle Mariners, Seahawks, UW Huskies, and Kraken games. We've remained locally owned, only 4 sets of owners in the entire history of KONP since its founding, continuing a mission to inform and connect the community locally. More news after this.
Looking for affordable home ownership on the peninsula? Mountain View Homes has you covered. Enjoy high-quality craftsmanship at 40% less than traditional homes. You heard me, 40% less. We offer full-service land packages from dirt to turnkey, delivering beautiful, efficient manufactured homes on your chosen site. With 3 convenient locations, including Carlsberg, we're here to serve you. Visit mtviewhomes.com today to learn more. Mountain View Homes, where affordability meets quality.
The 2025 KONP Home Show is back. We are now accepting vendor applications for the largest 2-day marketing event on the peninsula. Put your business in the middle of thousands of potential clients. Booths starting at under $500. The KONP Home Show will be Saturday and Sunday, March 8th and 9th, 2025. Sign up now for best locations and to lock in the lower rates. Call 360-457-1450 and get your space for the 40th annual KONP Home Show, March 8th and 9th.
If it's time for new asphalt paving for your dirt, gravel, or damaged driveway, now's the time to call Lakeside Industries for a free estimate. They've been serving this community since 1982 with city, county, and highway projects, of course. But did you know that they do residential and commercial grading, paving, and stormwater too? Well, they're scheduling spring and summer jobs right now, and no job is too small. Just call Lakeside Industries, 452-7803, or lakesideindustries.com.
Let's check in with Sandy Keys next and look at his weekend wrap-up.
Clusters of grapes are beautiful and tasty, but other clusters not so much. We had 9 vehicle accidents, 3 of those clustered in the 20 minutes between 6:45 and 7:05 Friday morning, and clustered in Squim. Squim had 1 other accident later on. The rest of the accidents were in Greater Port Angeles. Only 3 weekend harassments, but all 3 clustered in less than an hour Friday evening, with 2 in Squim, 1 at Clallam Bay. The weekend saw only 2 assaults, but even they formed a mini cluster. The 2 happened less than a half hour apart and only 2 blocks apart in Port Angeles. But the most remarkable cluster involved building checks. Between 1:15 Saturday morning and 4:30 that afternoon, 23 were reported, and there were 12 others reported scattered through the weekend. We had widely scattered theft reports, starting with the theft along Chicken Coop Road. Maybe somebody raided the hen house. Other thefts were reported on Robin Hood Loop Forks, appropriately named after a famous thief, 101 East Port Angeles, Colonel's Way, Port Angeles, and a car theft at Colonel's Way a little earlier. One other larceny was a burglary reported at 9:41 Saturday morning, 2nd and Peabody. No reports of disturbances Friday until just before midnight on South Francis. The other 5 thefts of the weekend were Squim Dungeness Way, West Hendrickson Road Squim, West Squim Bay Road, and 101 Squim, plus West 18th Port Angeles. And if you ever wondered, yes, you still can be arrested for littering. Although that term seems a little weak in this case, the word garbage comes to mind, involving the charming little resting park on Seal Street, downtown Squim. Some folks seem to have taken up residence there, but were very poor property managers. Even their litter literally buried even the benches. It's believed that the police initiated a sanitation exercise there about 2:45 Friday afternoon. The benches are, or soon will be, available for public use. For now, Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific Local News.
A proposed bill in the State House aims to limit the number of criminal defendants counties can send for mental health treatment at state hospitals. HB 1218, sponsored by Representative Daria Faravara of Seattle, would cap competency restoration admissions and fine cities and counties that go over their limits. Faravara hopes the bill will push local authorities to invest in community mental health services rather than relying on the criminal system for treatment. She's arguing that sending people through competency restoration does not guarantee they receive proper mental health care. The proposal's drawn mixed reactions. County officials worry they'll be financially responsible for decisions made by prosecutors and judges, while others fear it could restrict access to one of the few available mental health treatment options for them. This is Newsradio KONP.
Your enjoyment starts now with all the colors of the season at everyone's favorite haven, Airport Garden Center. Airport Garden Center opened for business in 1977 as a pet, plant, and feed store by Eldora and Floyd Matthews. The family-run operations continue as Betsy and Mark Matthews lovingly run the business to this day. Their family provides your family quality service and products for a fun pet and child-friendly shopping atmosphere. Looking for a special, unique gift? Airport Garden Center is proud to support locally sourced items like Full Moon Candles and Pacific Rain Shadow Farms handcrafted soap and Miss B Apiary Honey. And we love helping you plan each season by offering monthly special savings. Go to airportgarden.biz for current specials or just stop on by the store on Edgewood Drive. Airport Garden Center, planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapel offer experience you can lean on and the compassion to ease your loss. Their job is to help families cope with loss of loved ones by removing the stress involved in planning funeral arrangements. All of the staff has a real heart for serving families and their needs in the most difficult of times. They truly realize the importance in what they're doing for the community. Squim Valley Funeral Chapel and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel in Port Angeles, the caring support you'll need in your time of loss.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. A winter weather advisory continues until 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Snow likely eventually changing to rain this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 39. Northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for rain mixing with and changing to snow. Tonight, lows dip down to about 24. Cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. A mix of rain and snow possible at times. High temperatures reach up to 34. 1 to 3 inches of snow today through Wednesday night. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 37.
Kings get a bull, Spurs get a fox. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. Sacramento had been working the phones, and now they have a 3-team deal. De'Aaron Fox lands in San Antonio with the Spurs, where he will team up with Victor Wembanyama. As part of the deal, Kings get Zach LaVine from the Chicago Bulls. On the court yesterday, Bulls fall to the Pistons 127-119. Celtics rally from down 26 in the third and beat Philly 118-110. Grizzlies get 37 from Jaren Jackson. They get past Milwaukee 132-119. Memphis has won 8 of 9. Cavaliers trounced the Mavericks by 43. Cleveland, first team to 40 wins this season. Mavs, shorthanded on the heels of trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers. He arrived in L.A. last night.
Now you have a crazy scorer, passer, and someone to take the load off of LeBron James' shoulder. But most importantly, this is about the future. So when you think about Luka and the Los Angeles Lakers, it's about the long term and having a star in this city for the years to come.
ESPN analyst Janae Ogumake. In Toronto, Raptors by 7 over the Clippers. Fans in Toronto booing the American anthem, similar to the scenes at the hockey games in Ottawa and Calgary on Saturday and Vancouver on Sunday. College hoops on Sunday, women's action. The top 7 teams were in action. The only one of those 7 to lose, number 4 USC. They fall at Iowa on the day the Hawkeyes retired number 22 for Caitlin Clark. Asia Wilson had her jersey retired at South Carolina. Second-ranked Gamecocks then beat Auburn 83-66. Number 1 UCLA topping Minnesota. They are now 21-0. On the men's side, Nebraska goes to Oregon and beats the Ducks 77-71. Third straight loss for number 16 Oregon. Tonight, big Monday on ESPN, third-ranked Iowa State at number 11 Kansas. Rory McIlroy, 21 under for the week, wins at Pebble Beach. Eagles and Chiefs both arriving in New Orleans yesterday. NFC captures the Pro Bowl for a third straight year.
In local sports, the 2024-25 Port Angeles Rough Rider bowling team has made history in the Rough Rider record book. In dramatic fashion, the Riders edged out Sela by just 4 pins to qualify for the state tournament this Friday and Saturday at Tukwila. It marks the first time in the program's 3-year history the Riders have qualified as a team for state. It was a total team effort, and as usual, Zoe Van Gordon had the hot hand, rolling a 206 in Game 1. In Game 2, Zoe Penn stepped up with a score of a 164, and in Game 3, Kennedy Ring delivered a personal best 164. In the end, the Rough Riders secured their trip to state with a narrow victory over Sela, winning 2,722 to 2,718 pins. Rough Rider head coach Becky Gunderson elated with her team's performance, telling us, quote, "What an exciting tournament. I'm so proud of these 5 bowlers. We kept our energy and focused and bowled above our season average to secure the final spot at state. Zoe Van Gordon placing 7th overall was a big accomplishment, and Izzy Spencer bowling 21 pins above her average was huge. Lila Franich, Zoe Penn, Kennedy Ring, Izzy Spencer, and Zoe Van Gordon will all travel to Tukwila Friday for that state bowling tournament." The Squim Wolves also qualified 2 bowlers for state. Victoria Neva and Skylar Kreiwertz will be heading to Tukwila as well. High school basketball action resumes tomorrow night with a huge game for the Squim boys at North Kitsap. A win would put the Wolves in position to play for a share of the Olympic League Championship at home on Thursday when they take on Bremerton. Tomorrow night's Squim game at North Kitsap will be broadcast here on KONP starting at 7 o'clock. The Squim girls will host North Kitsap, while the Port Angeles Rough Rider girls will be heavy favorites at home against Bremerton. Meanwhile, the Rough Rider boys will travel to Bremerton to take on Jalen Davis and the league-leading Bremerton Knights. All those games tip off at 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
It's a new year, and Tri-State will be a new neighbor. Need a new roof or other exterior project? Tri-State is there for you every step of the way. Hundreds of 5-star reviews from very happy clients. Go to tristate.pro or call, and we'll be out tomorrow. Start off the new year with an affordable new roof. 0 down, 0 interest, or payments for 18-month OAC.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. It's tough to trade stocks on a day when the big news driving the market keeps changing, but Wall Street's doing its best. Indexes began the trading day with big losses, but they have moderated after President Trump announced a month delay in imposing tariffs on Mexico. He's speaking with Canada's Prime Minister this afternoon. The Dow is up a fraction, the S&P down a third, the Nasdaq down 0.75%. Retailers are preparing for the impact from tariffs if they do happen. An official with the National Retail Federation says some are looking to source from different places. Others are front-loading items. Among categories that are expected to be the most affected, apparel, footwear, televisions, home appliances, and toys. Those living near pickleball courts have reasons to rejoice. 2 manufacturers of pickleball paddles have come up with the Silencer, a paddle that mutes that pickleball noise that draws all the complaints. It'll be available this spring. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's check the roads and traffic conditions next. Brought to you this time out by Leeds Farm Supply and by Olympic Medical Center.
Guess what's cooking at Leeds Farm Supply? Propane, and lots of it. And at just $2.49 a gallon, it's a hot deal. Got cylinders? Leeds does. From 20 pounds to 100 pounds, and soon from 1 pound to a massive 420-pound capacity. Refillable, exchangeable, whatever you need. So whether you're grilling or heating, swing by Leeds, where propane and low prices are always in stock. Leeds Farm Supply, fueling your next big thing.
February is the season of love, especially when it comes to caring for your heart. This Heart Month, talk with your primary care provider about your heart concerns and learn if a consult with an Olympic Medical Cardiology specialist is the next step on your healthy heart journey. From non-invasive treatments to lifestyle changes, our goal for you is to blossom with a healthy heart. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/cardiology.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
Let's head up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center now. That's where Steve's standing by. He's got an eye on the noontime route and traffic conditions for us this Monday. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we're doing pretty good overall if you're out and about today. Fair amount of traffic right now in both Port Angeles and Sequim. Things moving along pretty smoothly. Right now, the roads are in good shape. Really not much of a problem getting around other than we're starting to build on the volume of traffic out there. Highway 101 between Port Angeles and Sequim is also in good shape currently. You shouldn't have too much problem making your way through there. Traffic is moving along at the speed limit out there. If you're headed beyond that, Hood Canal Bridge good to go with no scheduled marine openings, and state ferries are running on time today. Now, if you're headed out to the west end, 101, just be careful out there as you head out towards the Forks area. Roads are clear all the way out through Indian Valley. Then things start getting a little bit dicey out there. Still some compact snow and ice in places, but for the most part, the road is down to asphalt. Although right now in Forks, it is just dumping snow. So I'm sure that's going to get covered up here pretty quick. But those snowstorms haven't been lasting too long, so we should be in pretty good shape. So everybody just take care. Drive safely out there. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
And thanks, Steve. Currently across the peninsula right now in the east end in Port Townsend, they're cloudy and 36. Snow out at Nia Bay at the coast, 32. Heavy snow being reported now in Forks where it's 34 degrees. Just cloudy in Sequim, 37. We're clouded up now here in Port Angeles where it's also 37 degrees at last check. Well, in a night of music and giving, the Fire Aid fundraiser this past weekend brought together some of the biggest names in the music industry, sharing stories of loss and raising money for L.A. wildfire relief. Correspondent Jennifer King takes a look.
Los Angeles! Fire Aid brought together artists spanning generations and genres to help raise money for Los Angeles area wildfire relief. The two-venue concert took over Inglewood's Kia Forum and the Intuit Dome. Acts with Los Angeles roots like Billie Eilish and the Red Hot Chili Peppers were featured alongside rising artists like Tate McRae and Jelly Roll, with a reunion of Nirvana topping the list of surprises.
It's going to be up to 10 years before there's some semblance of a new version.
Alanis Morissette has been hosting friends who lost their homes.
It's easy to forget when you're not right there. I had the horror and privilege of being able to drive through Pacific Palisades a couple days ago, and seeing it in person was sobering and horrifying.
Survivors told their stories, and behind the performers, images of firefighters and devastation appeared on screen.
I stepped onto the grounds and I fell to my knees and I wailed. I had not cried like that since I was 15 years old, and I was told that my father had just died.
I think we all need a lot of things right now. But I think something we may also need is time.
All proceeds will benefit those affected by the fires.
If you use Gmail, this could affect you. Hackers are now using AI to call unsuspecting Gmail account users, then tricking them into revealing personal details like passwords and banking information. Here's Chuck Palm with more in today's Tech Report.
Google has issued a security warning about Gmail. AI-powered phone calls are mimicking human voices and have become incredibly realistic. A new report from Forbes has warned that Gmail's 2.5 billion users could be targeted by malicious actors that are employing AI to dupe customers into handing over credentials. In one example, a cyber criminal deploys phone calls posing as Google support, complete with caller ID that looks a lot like it came from Google. The fake support agent will then send an email to the user's Gmail account from what appears to be a legitimate Google email address and asks them to click links for account recovery. In another scam, a hacker sends you an email saying they received notice that you are dead and a family member is trying to recover your account. The fake tech support agent even has details that seem legitimate. If you suspect shenanigans, you should get their callback phone number and supervisor's email address, which will usually scare them off. Pro tip, never click links in emails from someone you don't know. I'm Chuck Palm.
Major League Baseball announcing yesterday that former Commissioner Fay Vincent, who led the sport through some very turbulent times, has died. ABC's Joey Waller has more.
Fay Vincent recently treated for bladder cancer. The Connecticut native serving as commissioner from 1989 through 92, taking over upon the sudden death of his mentor and close friend, former Commissioner Bart Giamatti. Vincent guiding baseball through the earthquake-disrupted Bay Area World Series in '89. He remained outspoken, supporting Giamatti's lifetime baseball ban of Pete Rose for gambling on the sport. Fay Vincent was 86.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Every year, more than 600,000 people in the United States will have their first stroke. Two basic types of stroke. One is when something blocks the blood supply to a part of the brain. Second, when a blood vessel in the brain bursts and there is bleeding. It's serious stuff, as you might imagine. To that end, the American Stroke Association is updating its recommendations to help people reduce the risk of first-time stroke. Above all else, the guidelines encourage a series of healthy behaviors to help people avoid some common risk factors like obesity, high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol. And yes, by the way, these GLP-1 drugs could help here. As always, look out for the telltale sign warnings of a stroke. Be fast, balance loss, eyesight changes, face drooping or weakness, arm weakness or numbness, speech difficulty or slurring. Call 911. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. It's hard to believe it today, but once there was a time in our nation when we had no women doctors. So when did women begin to become doctors in America? I'll tell you that story after this important message. Hello, Jerry Stewart here. Stories are a powerful way to teach and a great way to be reminded of our own duties and responsibilities as American citizens. That's why I love to tell true stories of our American history to remind us all that we are the greatest nation in the world, yes, but we won't stay the greatest nation unless we all do our part. Want to hear some great true stories of America? How about 70 stories? For just $19.95 plus $5 shipping and handling, I will send you my 70 favorite stories. Order now, and you'll also receive a second CD, Teach the Children Well. 10 stories to teach our children and remind us all what it means to be a God-honoring American. Just call my order line now at 817-995-4607 or order online at www.jerrystewartusa.com. The number again, 817-995-4607. Please call now. A few years before our Civil War began, a teenage girl by the name of Elizabeth Blackwell was encouraged by a dying friend to become a doctor. On her deathbed, the woman said, "If I could only have been treated by a lady doctor, my worst sufferings would have been spared me." Well, Elizabeth was so moved by her words, she decided to seek her medical degree. But over 24 medical schools rejected her application. When she was finally accepted by one medical college, the all-male student body thought it was a joke. But it was no joke. In 1849, Elizabeth Blackwell graduated with top honors. And today, half of the doctors graduating from medical school are women. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham has been talking with some members of the House Freedom Caucus as he prepares in his role as Budget Committee Chair to pave the way for a party line border, energy, and defense bill. Reporter Bernie Bennett with the update.
The Freedom Caucus has Chair Andy Harris of Maryland and Chip Roy of Texas taking an informal lead in talking with senators, including Graham. As lawmakers on both sides of the rotunda tell it, the aim of the talks is to help Republicans eventually get on the same page, something that has eluded the party so far. And Graham's efforts have the tacit approval of other GOP senators who know that whatever the Senate does has to pass muster with the House's toughest votes. Speaker Mike Johnson hopes to pass one large spending bill. The House will try to pass a measure this week. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Unless there are last-minute negotiations, tariffs against Canada and China still set for Tuesday. Tariffs against Mexico paused for a month now. Also at townhall.com, the Senate tonight expected to advance President Trump's Attorney General nominee, Pam Bondi, toward a final confirmation vote later this week. Bob Agnew with that report.
Bondi is a staunch Trump ally who's expected to bring stability to the Justice Department after years of what many say has been the weaponization of the DOJ during the Biden years. Bondi spent more than 18 years as a prosecutor, trying cases ranging from domestic violence to capital murder. She served as Florida's 37th and first female Attorney General. Bob Agnew reporting.
The Pacific Coast Highway back open in Malibu, California, nearly a month after the deadly Palisades fire ripped through hillside Los Angeles neighborhoods, destroying properties all the way down to the beach. Traffic along the scenic shoreline route began moving again with just one lane in each direction and limited speed. On Wall Street, the Dow had 8 points, the NASDAQ Composite down 138. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
A bomb explosion in northern Syria.
At least 15 people have been killed and dozens more wounded on Monday when a car bomb exploded in the outskirts of a northern Syrian city. The car on the outskirts of the city of Manbij detonated next to a vehicle carrying agricultural workers. Over a dozen women were killed from the blast, according to the local Syrian civil defense. Over a dozen other women were wounded, some of them in a critical condition. Manbij in northeastern Aleppo province continues to witness violence, even after the downfall of President Bashar al-Assad in December. I'm Karen Shamas.
Pakistan threatening to deport Afghan refugees awaiting relocation to a third country unless their cases are swiftly processed by the host governments. Around 20,000 Afghans are in limbo in Pakistan. The Afghans fled to neighboring Pakistan after the Taliban took over in 2021. Breaking news at townhall.com. Things getting a little ugly when it comes to sports, and U.S. U.S.-Canadian relations.
Fans north of the border have continued an emerging trend of booing the American national anthem at pro sporting events in Canada. It has happened over the weekend at both NBA and NHL games in Ottawa, Calgary, and Toronto. These incidents occurring just hours after President Trump announced tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. Jason Walker reporting.
A parent tackled a man who opened fire during a band competition at a Houston area high school. Several others then helped disarm and detain him. One person was injured in the shooting. Police say a man in his 80s entered Pasadena Memorial High School on Saturday evening during a competition involving students from several school districts and fired a small-caliber weapon. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday afternoon, February 3rd. The Port Angeles Chamber of Commerce hosted a spectacular gala Saturday night celebrating the achievements of local businesses and community leaders. All the nominations were made months ago by the public, and a panel of community members judged it. And then they named the winners on Saturday. The Business of the Year Award was presented to Swain's General Store. For 66 years, Swain's has been a place where neighbors come together, where tradition meets generosity, and where giving back is at the heart of everything they do. And they've also established the Swain's Family Foundation, when the store has contributed more than $650,000 to local charities. Danny Steiger was named Citizen of the Year. He's the CEO of Lumber Traders and has overseen major redevelopment projects with the company, but also serves on various boards and commissions advocating for solving the affordable housing crisis locally. First Step Family Support Center was the Organization of the Year. From providing food, clothing, books, and toys to counseling for parents and substance abuse support, First Step's been dedicated to helping underprivileged families thrive locally. Its impact last year alone included 1,790 families receiving direct support, 283,000 diapers distributed to more than 900 families, and a growing team of 34 advocates, nurses, case managers, and specialists who continue to reach more families every year. Ridgeline Home Health was named the Emerging Business of the Year. It opened 4 years ago, and since then, Ridgeline has made an impact on the lives of seniors locally, filling a critical gap in home-based care while pioneering a new model of caregiving. Unlike traditional agencies, the business is owned and operated by its caregivers, ensuring that those providing care have a voice in the decision-making. Jason Gooding was named the Educator of the Year. For the past 11 years, Gooding has been a pillar of support for students, families, and educators across the Port Angeles School District. He's a school counselor now and has helped students navigate the challenges of academics, personal growth, and planning for the future. And Rose Thompson was named the Young Leader of the Year. From serving as the executive director of the Dungeness Crab Festival to her work with the Wanda Fuca Festival, the Waterfront District, and the Fungi Fest, Thompson's been instrumental in ensuring that the local economy and culture flourish, at the same time running her own businesses locally. KONP Radio celebrating 80 years on the air today, marking a long history providing local service to the North Olympic Peninsula. Our station began broadcasting on February 3rd, 1945, after an 8-year effort started by the Port Angeles Evening News to bring an AM radio station to the city. Wartime restrictions delayed Federal Communications Commission approval, and that pushed the launch of KONP to after World War II. Originally a music station, KONP eventually shifted to a news and talk format in the mid-1990s, and now we air plenty of local and national news, lots of high school sports, weather, and community updates. We're an ABC affiliate still, and the station broadcasts regional and world news along with Seattle Mariners, Seahawks, UW Huskies, and Kraken games. We've remained locally owned, only 4 sets of owners in the entire history of KONP since its founding, continuing a mission to inform and connect the community locally. Let's check in with Sandy Keys next and look at his weekend wrap-up.
Clusters of grapes are beautiful and tasty, but other clusters not so much. We had 9 vehicle accidents, 3 of those clustered in the 20 minutes between 6:45 and 7:05 Friday morning, and clustered in Sequim. Sequim had 1 other accident later on. The rest of the accidents were in Greater Port Angeles. Only 3 weekend harassments, but all 3 clustered in less than an hour Friday evening, with 2 in Sequim, 1 at Clallam Bay. The weekend saw only 2 assaults, but even they formed a mini cluster. The 2 happened less than a half hour apart and only 2 blocks apart in Port Angeles. But the most remarkable cluster involved building checks. Between 1:15 Saturday morning and 4:30 that afternoon, 23 were reported, and there were 12 others reported scattered through the weekend. We had widely scattered theft reports, starting with the theft along Chicken Coop Road. Maybe somebody raided the hen house. Other thefts were reported on Robin Hood Loop Forks, appropriately named after a famous thief, 101 East Port Angeles, Colonel's Way, Port Angeles, and a car theft at Colonel's Way a little earlier. One other larceny was a burglary reported at 9:41 Saturday morning, 2nd and Peabody. No reports of disturbances Friday until just before midnight on South Francis. The other 5 thefts of the weekend were Sequim Dungeness Way, West Hendrickson Road Sequim, West Sequim Bay Road, and 101 Sequim, plus West 18th Port Angeles. And if you ever wondered, yes, you still can be arrested for littering. Although that term seems a little weak in this case, the word garbage comes to mind, involving the charming little resting park on Seal Street, downtown Sequim. Some folks seem to have taken up residence there, but were very poor property managers. Even their litter literally buried even the benches. It's believed that the police initiated a sanitation exercise there about 2:45 Friday afternoon. The benches are, or soon will be, available for public use. For now, Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific Local News.
A proposed bill in the State House aims to limit the number of criminal defendants counties can send for mental health treatment at state hospitals. HB 1218, sponsored by Representative Daria Faravara of Seattle, would cap competency restoration admissions and fine cities and counties that go over their limits. Faravara hopes the bill will push local authorities to invest in community mental health services rather than relying on the criminal system for treatment. She's arguing that sending people through competency restoration does not guarantee they receive proper mental health care. The proposal's drawn mixed reactions. County officials worry they'll be financially responsible for decisions made by prosecutors and judges, while others fear it could restrict access to one of the few available mental health treatment options for them. This is Newsradio KONP.
For some people, their cars are their most prized possessions. Show you care with a gift certificate for high-quality Shell gas and car washes from First Race Car Wash. Gift certificates start at $5 and are great as a thank you, a congratulations, and fit great in birthday cards, too. First Race Car Wash on the corner of First and Race, Port Angeles. You're a winner every time when you've got that First Race shine.
The 2025 KONP Home Show is back. We are now accepting vendor applications for the largest 2-day marketing event on the peninsula. Put your business in the middle of thousands of potential clients. Booths starting at under $500. The KONP Home Show will be Saturday and Sunday, March 8th and 9th, 2025. Sign up now for best locations and to lock in the lower rates. Call 360-457-1450 and get your space for the 40th annual KONP Home Show, March 8th and 9th.
The electric stove, the refrigerator, the vacuum. All advances in technology that had a profound impact on society. But the creation of one specific device brought the world together. And you're listening to it. With the invention of the radio, advertisers soon realized the power of marketing to a mass audience. And one advertiser took advantage of radio's true strength. On Christmas Eve, 1926, the first radio jingle was broadcast. And soon, the struggling Washburn Crosby Company and their little cereal became the most popular brand in America. Since then, advertisers have used jingles and radio to stay at the top of your mind. And you have the chance to do the same. Make that lasting connection with your future customers. Call 457-1450 to find out how affordable radio really is and how easy it is to be a part of it. Radio Pacific, a multi-station radio network.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. A winter weather advisory continues until 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Snow likely eventually changing to rain this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 39. Northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for rain mixing with and changing to snow. Tonight, lows dip down to about 24. Cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. A mix of rain and snow possible at times. High temperatures reach up to 34. 1 to 3 inches of snow today through Wednesday night. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 37.
It is 12:46. Let's get a check on sports with Robert Workman next.
NBA Sunday, the Cavaliers clobbered the Mavericks 144-101. This was the first game for Dallas since its blockbuster trade over the weekend with the Lakers that sent Luka Doncic to L.A. with Anthony Davis and Max Christie heading to the Mavs. Pistons popped the Bulls 127-119. Chicago is close to completing a three-way deal that would send Zach LaVine to Sacramento and De'Aaron Fox from the Kings to the Spurs, with the Bulls getting a package of players and a first-round draft pick. The NBA trade deadline is on Thursday. A potential deal that would send the Heat's Jimmy Butler to the Warriors is on hold. Butler is refusing to sign a contract extension with Golden State. Elsewhere on Sunday, the Celtics rallied from down 26 to slide past the Sixers, 35 for Jason Tatum. Raptors sank the Clippers, and the Grizzlies beat the Bucks. NHL, Carter Verhaeghe's hat trick led the Panthers over the Islanders 6-3, ending New York's 7-game winning streak. Red Wings zing the Canucks 3-2 in overtime for their 6th victory in a row. Avalanche blanked the Flyers 2-0. 24 saves from Mackenzie Blackwood. Philadelphia has been shut out in each of its last 3 games. Rangers top the Golden Knights 4-2. Jonathan Quick becomes the first U.S.-born goalie to reach 400 wins.
Been lucky enough to play with a lot of great hockey players that value winning, put that above all else. So grateful that been on some great teams over my course of my career, and, this one included.
Victories for the Stars, Ducks, Sabres, Blues, and Flames. The Athletic reports right-hander Jack Flaherty is on his way back to the Tigers on a 2-year deal worth $35 million. Flaherty signed with Detroit last winter, then was traded to the Dodgers in July, where he helped them win the World Series. And Rory McIlroy won the PGA event at Pebble Beach, his 27th career tour victory. That's Monday Sports.
Dinner just got easier and tastier with the Pizza Hut carryout deal. Call Pizza Hut and grab a large one-topping pizza for just $9.99. This $9.99 one-topping pizza deal is carryout only and perfect for family dinners, game nights, or just because you deserve pizza. Order online or pick up at Pizza Hut in Port Angeles. Pizza Hut, the pizza your family loves at a price you'll love too. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
The Panto is moving to OTA. Based on Fractured Fairy Tales, Pantos are a British tradition of comedy, melodrama, and clowning coming together in an interactive evening of booze, cheers, and jeers as you laugh the night away. This year's Panto, sponsored by Kelly Johnson of Windermere Real Estate, is Cinderella and the Enabling Habit. Join Cindy, her stepfamily, the fairy godmother, and more as they try to navigate a world of dependency and magic. Written and created by Shannon Cosgrove, directed by Kyle Lemaire, Matt Forrest, and Morgan Bartholick, the best of the best have come together to bring you an experience in the Gathering Hall like no other. Enjoy your favorite beverage as the show happens all around you. The Panto runs for 3 weekends only, from February 7th to 23rd. Tickets are on sale now at olympictheaterarts.org. Cinderella and the Enabling Habit. The Panto at OTA. It's the best partnership since pickles and cheese.
Happy New Year. This is Brandon Johnson, General Manager of Price Ford in Port Angeles. 2025 is going to be a great year. To have a great year, you need to have a great start, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Does that mean huge discounts and really low rates?
Yes, it does. Up to $5,000 off Bronco Sport, $7,500 off F-150, $7,500 off Super Duty, $7,600 off Escape, and $8,500 off Bronco. Plus, rates as low as 0% for 72 months.
Plus, our pre-owned inventory has never been better. Visit us at priceford.com.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The tariff uncertainty has been weighing on markets today. President Trump shifted position and now says he's holding off for a month before imposing 25% tariffs on Mexico. The same could happen with Canada following a phone call this afternoon between Trump and Prime Minister Trudeau. Markets are lower. They're down now between 0.1% and 0.8%. President Trump has also signed an executive order today to create a sovereign wealth fund for the U.S. It's unclear how it would be funded, but Trump has proposed funneling tariffs into a fund that could invest in manufacturing hubs, defense, and medical research. EY and Microsoft are teaming up to launch the AI Skills Passport. It's a new initiative to help students ages 16 and up learn about AI technologies and how to apply those skills to various industries and careers. It's a free online program that takes about 10 hours to complete. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get one last look at the noontime road and traffic conditions next. Brought to you by Angela's Furniture and by McCrory Carpet One.
Hi, this is Jack at Angela's Furniture. Just because it's a new year doesn't mean you can't be a little lazy. And I mean lazy in a new Lazy Boy recliner. Right now, we've got special styles starting as low as $549 for the Vail Rocker recliner. Step it up to the Morrison Rocker recliner for just $649. Or you can still save a ton and move up to the luxury in the Astra Rocker recliner for $949. Be a little lazy in your new Lazy Boy with the help of Angela's Furniture, 1114 East 1st.
At McCrory Carpet One, they sell more than just carpet. If you walk on it, they carry it. Hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, stone, and more. Plus, experience their award-winning installation service on everything they sell. Because McCrory's sells more flooring than anyone else on the peninsula, and Carpet One stores sell more flooring nationally than anyone, they can say always priced right and always done right. McCrory Carpet One, serving the community since 1958.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
Let's head back up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center one last time. That's where Steve's standing by with an eye on the roads and traffic for us. Good afternoon again, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Well, right now it's looking pretty good. If you're out and about, both the Port Angeles and Sequim area, just light to moderate traffic right now, making it through. Roads are in good shape, and traffic is moving along pretty well. Looking at the sky, that may change, but we'll have to see how that goes. If you're on the highway between Port Angeles and Sequim, no real problems right now. Down to the asphalt all the way through, no slip and slide out there. Fairly busy with traffic, and it is moving along at the speed limit. If you're headed beyond that, Hood Canal Bridge good to go with no scheduled marine openings. Also, state ferries running on time today. Now, if you're headed out to the west end, a little bit more wintry conditions out that way. If you're headed out, we've got pavement all the way out, at least through Indian Valley to about the Lake Crescent area. Then things start getting a little bit dicey out there. Intermittent snow showers, a lot of snow out there, all the way into the Forks area. So you just need to watch your speeds and be very careful out there. So everybody, just take care, drive safely. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
All right, thanks, Steve. Current temps 37 in Port Townsend at the east end of the peninsula. Out west, where it is a kind of a blizzard in spots, it's 35 in Forks, actually. It's much colder than that, though, as you head out toward the coast at Nia Bay and Clallam Bay area. They're down about 10 degrees lower than that. In Sequim, it's 38. Now it's 35 in downtown Port Angeles, 34 now out at Fairchild Airport. Well, join us next hour on the Todd Ortloff Show. We're going to spend a little time in the first half of the program talking about the 80th birthday of your favorite radio station. Yeah, us here at KONP. Today is our 80th birthday, and our own Brown Maloney will be joining me for our half hour or so. We're going to just take a look back on the history of KONP. That'll be the first half, and then we're going to have Steve Rader Ginsburg join us in the second half of the show. He's going to be talking update on the Field Arts and Events Hall. Some great shows coming up there, and just kind of where things stand with that facility as well. That's next hour on the TO show here on KONP. Well, things got a little nutty this weekend in Colorado's Manitou Springs, where they continued their 30-year tradition to beat the winter blues with a fruitcake toss. Fruitcakes were catapulted, slingshotted, flung for a good cause at the city's Memorial Park on Saturday. The National Fruitcake Toss is a time when residents from the city south of Denver toss out their unwanted holiday gift. Canned goods were also considered as fair trade, as the event serves to fundraise and stock the shelves of St. Andrew's Food Pantry. And while others have had similar tosses, city events manager Jenna Gallus says there's nothing like the original.
We are definitely the first. Yes, there are copycats out there, but you can rest assured that the original Great Fruitcake Toss was right here in Manitou Springs.
Venture capitalists are fuming, and for good reason. Communist China's DeepSeek AI is better and 30 times cheaper to run than its American counterparts. I'm Kim Commando for Oracle. You can cut your current cloud bill in half if you move to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. See if your company qualifies at oracle.com/Kim. Since DeepSeek was unveiled, American powerhouses like OpenAI, which attracted roughly $15 billion in funding, and Anthropic, with nearly $3 billion behind it, have seen their valuations dip by up to 20%. DeepSeek's founder insists he never meant to start a price war. Yeah, right. But his bold claim that AGI, that's artificial general intelligence, when AI outsmarts us and makes its own decisions, is only 2 years away, has rattled investors. Billions in venture capital are being now reconsidered. And DeepSeek is a great thing. Our tech titans thought they were years ahead of China, and now they're working harder than ever just to catch up. Get my free newsletter at getkim.com. Even if you think it's a bit overhyped, AI is suddenly everywhere, from self-driving cars to molecular medicine to business efficiency. If it's not in your industry yet, it's coming fast. But AI needs a lot of speed and computing power. So how do you compete without costs just spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. It's a blazing fast and secure platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, plus all of your AI and machine learning workloads. OCI costs 50% less for computing and 80% less for networking. Thousands of businesses have already upgraded. Oracle is offering to cut your current cloud bill in half if you move to OCI. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. See if your company qualifies for this special offer at oracle.com/Kim. That's oracle.com/Kim. Oracle.com/Kim. Oracle.com/Kim.
I'm John Tesh. Coming up, we've all heard the old adage, opposites attract. But in a moment, I'll tell you why having things in common is a much bigger predictor of attraction. Next, in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
When it comes to sending last-minute Valentine's Day gifts, nobody delivers like Target Circle 360. Get the perfect surprise delivered right to their door with Target Circle 360's unlimited same-day delivery on orders over $35. Start with a dozen red roses, then choose from our delicious assortment of favorite day candy and more. Crush your Valentine's Day celebration by sending something to everyone on your list. Only at Target. Restrictions apply.
If you're ready to find a relationship that will last the rest of your life, banish these two words from your vocabulary. Opposites attract. People fall for someone who's different because they hope the other person's good traits will rub off on them. For example, a wallflower might be drawn to an extrovert in hopes of becoming more social. But dating coach Marina Sabrachi says personality changes rarely happen. So the introvert winds up resenting their outgoing partner and vice versa. And statistics back this up. A University of Pennsylvania study found that differing on just one issue, for example, spending versus saving, boosted a couple's chance of divorce by more than 30%. And having different lifestyle habits, especially health-related issues like smoking and exercise, increases the risk of divorce by more than 90%. So if you're looking for lasting love, find someone who's similar to you. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
This is Trevor Shumway from Firehouse Grill. We have some great news. We're dropping prices on our most popular items and not dropping quality. We're stubborn in wanting to provide the best quality possible. We hand weigh and hand smash our burgers daily, marinating our chicken in-house and hand breaded per order, hand scooping every shake ordered. And have you tried our smash burgers yet? One of the best things we've done at Firehouse Grill. I won't compromise on quality ever. Come check us out. Firehouse Grill Burgers and Fries on 8th Street.
A new year brings new tasks. Bobcat equipment from Brim Tractor will help get more done in 2025. Buy a Bobcat compact track loader with industry-leading travel speeds or a compact excavator with fast cycle times and get financing as low as 0% for 48 months. Or choose cash rebates on select models. Visit Brim Tractor in Carlsberg for details. Some restrictions apply. Length of contract and rate may vary. Offer ends February 28th.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson.
accommodation after President Trump's phone call with Mexico's president today, says ABC's Karen Travers at the White House.
President Trump described that phone call as a very friendly conversation, but the president said that it all comes down to one word: tariffs, which he said are a powerful tool to getting what you want. He was very clear there in the Oval Office that this doesn't mean they're off the table entirely. He was saying they're on pause right now because the Mexicans said that they're now going to send 10,000 troops to their northern border and work harder on the flow of drugs across into the United States.
The Tesla SpaceX billionaire Trump advisor Elon Musk says the president's okayed his intervention in the U.S. Foreign Aid Agency. Musk has been given access to Treasury Department resources, including classified information of U.S. aid. U.S. Southern Command confirms that 150 Marines have been sent to the U.S. Navy base in Cuba to expand for detained illegal migrants. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
We are building out our capacity at Guantanamo Bay. Right now, that is where the worst are going. We have only a handful of individuals there now, but we will build out those facilities to have a capacity there to meet our needs.
Congress is looking into this.
Wireless emergency alerts were critical during the wildfires, and there are questions why some areas that should have gotten them never did. But there was also at least one mistaken, erroneous alert that went out to all 10 million residents of L.A. County, telling everybody they were in danger and to evacuate, when in fact most were nowhere near the wildfires and were not in danger. Now 14 members of Congress are demanding answers, saying erroneous alerts like that will cause people to mute or ignore future alerts which could be deadly. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
An atmospheric river expected to bring rain to Southern California by tomorrow night, increasing the risk for flooding, mudslides after the recent fires. You're listening to ABC News.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com, or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to new, NORDICUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New year, new you, New Nordic.
Some terrifying moments aboard a United Airlines flight from Houston bound for New York City Sunday morning. It slammed to a halt just before takeoff with an engine on fire and smoke getting into the cabin. Kelsey Davis was on board.
Felt like it slammed back to the ground. Everyone started screaming, and the plane felt like it was kind of fishtailing. It was swerving all over the runway.
All 104 passengers and crew got out safely, some evacuating down an emergency slide onto the runway. A car bombing in northern Syria has left at least 19 people dead and more than a dozen others injured. Blast taking place next to a vehicle carrying mostly female agricultural workers. The bombing near the Turkish border, Syria's deadliest since the fall of the Assad regime in December. First court hearing in actress Blake Lively's sexual harassment case against Hollywood director Justin Baldoni, underway today in New York.
The legal battle between actors Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni heads to a New York court. Lively and husband Ryan Reynolds hope to get Baldoni's $400 million defamation lawsuit dismissed. Lively has accused Baldoni of sexual harassment while making the film It Ends With Us, which he denies. In his defense, Baldoni's legal team launching a website over the weekend, posting what they say are emails and text messages with Lively and Reynolds.
ABC's Dave Packer. New federal data suggests more than 1 million children may have been affected by long COVID in 2023. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Klahani Gymnastics is so much more than mats, bars, and balance beams. It's a place for building strength and confidence in our kids. It's promoting self-esteem and key building blocks for a healthy lifestyle. And, of course, fitness is always fun at Klahani. Get the favorite child in your life a gift certificate for tuition and call to check on our schedule for upcoming classes. 360-457-5187. Klahani Gymnastics on Acorn Lane in Port Angeles. Making fitness fun since 2009.
At Olympic Peninsula Title, we wear a lot of different hats.
We are investigators, analysts, and the protectors of property rights. We seek a high standard of accuracy. Our commitment to exceptional service strengthens our mission. We reduce risk. We stay on top of current issues affecting property rights. We sweat the small stuff to give our customers the peace of mind they deserve. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results, 457-6600. Port Angeles came together to recognize outstanding businesses and individuals at the annual Chamber of Commerce Community Awards Gala Saturday night. Swain's General Store named Business of the Year. Danny Steiger awarded Citizen of the Year. First Step Family Support Center recognized as Organization of the Year. Other top honors went to Ridgeline Home Health as Emerging Business of the Year, Jason Gooding as Educator of the Year, and Rose Thompson as the Young Leader of the Year.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. A winter weather advisory continues until 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Snow likely, eventually changing to rain this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 35. Northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Chance for rain mixing with then changing to snow. Lows level off around 24. A mix of rain and snow possible at times. Tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 34. Cloudy skies expected. 1 to 3 inches of snow today through Wednesday night. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 34.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
Well, I had this great little thing I was going to do. Oh, there we go. There. Biffed that one too. Oh, well, okay. It's live radio.
Good, Todd. That's really good.
Anyway, it's a birthday
great.
for the Beatles because it's our birthday, and today in the first half of the show today, Brown Maloney's joining me, and we're going to talk a little bit about KONP because, well, we can and because we should on the 80th anniversary of going on the air.
When we say our birthday, that's a collective our, Todd, mine, and the rest of the staff down here.
Absolutely, and yeah, it's kind of hard. I was hearkening back on it. I did a little post, and some people have been commenting on it, and they're complimenting. Some are like, well, wow, that's the only thing that I remember from that's still that old around here. And I thought,
well, we're bringing attention to it as well because it's a decade, if you will, birthday. It's 80. And I remember when I bought the station, it was, gosh, we weren't quite 60 years old, I don't think.
Yeah. And that was a marked time, too. That was like, oh, my gosh, you have radio stations on the air that many years?
Sure.
It is somewhat monumental in the broadcast business to have, especially radio stations, because they kind of come and go a lot more so than, say, TV stations do, to have one that lasts that long.
That is true. That is very true. Now, radio came on in its very, very, very infancy in the 1920s, and not surprising, started in the major markets. And the secondary and third-tier markets obviously took a little while. But there was a total of 5 applications by the time all was said and done. It was the late 30s that FCC allowed, opened the door, if you will, to apply for a license in the Port Angeles, Clallam County market. And because of the war, it took, well, it wasn't until 1945.
Yeah, they put a freeze on things. It was actually approved to go ahead, or it was close to it, and then there was a freeze. So we really probably would have been on the air much sooner than 1945. But, most of the KDKAs and all of the first commercial stations all were on the air in the 20s and 30s basically. So we're young ones compared to some of those old heritage ones.
True. And some of those very, very first ones are truly the giants because they got a level of power to broadcast that kind of grandfathered them in. KOMO has 50,000 watts. This is the second, if you will, in about 2 or 3 years I've been interviewed for a radio station anniversary, and the first one was KFBK in Sacramento that came on the air in 1923, and they celebrated their 100th anniversary, and it was my family that founded that radio station. And of course I was down there for their big 100th. Not surprisingly, they had a big, really big event, and they broadcast live, and I was interviewed on that as well. But obviously this is very important to me because I've been part of this area for over 40 years of my life, and ran the Squim Gazette and had the, which was Olympic View Publishing, the Squim Gazette and the Forks Forum, newspapers in my blood as well, and ran those for 23 years. And Jim and Terry McDonald in the early 2000s, this would be about 2001, I guess the conversation started. They were looking at making a change. And I have to tell you, I definitely had an interest because I was in the media business here, of course, in Clallam County, ran a newspaper. They ran a news talk station that was really important to me because I felt a news station was extremely important to the area, the municipalities that it served, the region that it served. It truly was the broadcast anchor for Clallam County. And the other thing too, Todd, I knew I wasn't going to own the newspapers forever, but I felt that this would be a good thing to transition to. Not that I was looking for any more work to do, because running the newspapers that I was running, I felt I would have someone run this for me, and not that I would have to be there every day if I had the right person and the right team on board. And so, but also, let me just say, largely the thing that was a compelling item for me is I very much wanted to see the radio station stay locally owned. And not that we were so big that some major company that would buy a KOMO, for example. No, we are out of their sights by any means, but certainly a regional group could come in and buy it that could be operated maybe out of Portland, and maybe they own smaller market radio, you know, the Yakimas, the Bend, Oregon, the Tri-Cities, and Port Angeles would be a nice fit. But I wanted this to stay local, and so that was a little bit of a community service sort of effort on my part too. It's not really about money, because you don't really make much money. I like to say some months we make $1, some months we lose $1, but largely it's certainly. And the way I operate it too, I'm not operating it to have a margin, but just have a good staff, good morale, a place where people like working. And I think that resonates into the community. And of course, Todd, you're one of those as well. And you've been here.
I've been here. This is my, this will be 30 years for me. In fact, we're going to be marking that in May.
Okay.
And actually, it's been a little longer than that because I came to work at KONP as a part-time person. I've been here a couple of different times, but 30 years in my current iterage, I like to tell folks. So that's after my wife went to law school. We decided to move back. Jim and Terry McDonald hired me to come back and be the operations person. That was 1995. But I had also worked a couple of stints before that, once full-time for about 2 years, about 91 to 93. And then we took off, and then we came back again. And then I also did a little bit in the summertime when I was in college. I worked here as well. So if you added it all together, it's closer to 40. But we're going to call it 30 because I'm going to go with the one continuous timeline. So
at this point in time, you really are the voice, if you will, of KONP. When did you first go on the air, and what was it like, and were you nervous, and what were you on the air? What was it all about? They threw you in here, and you thought...
Well, it's funny because my first job was at the other radio station we had in town.
And of course...
That was KAPY, up at 1290. The great Tom Newcomb hired me in high school.
I remember Tom.
And he was a genuine teacher, loved the business, just kind of a great guy. Rubbed some people the wrong way, but he was really good to me, and it gave me a whole bunch of opportunity, and I worked kind of part-time as this little 16, 17-year-old kid, and then I got off. I started going to college. I went to Peninsula College, got away from working all the time, and anyway, there was an opening that they were looking for some fill-in help at KONP, of all things. And I have to admit that one of the things that used to happen when I worked at Cappy is that I would listen to KONP's broadcasts of the Mariner games because I worked the night shift. Cappy was a daytime only station.
Sure.
Perfect
I remember that.
job for a kid in school because at the summer, they'd be on till 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. So they'd always hire somebody to fill that last shift. Then winter would come and that shift would go away because they'd have to be off the air. So perfect time, you're in school, you know. So that was my shift, was that night shift. And they played music and I'd disc jockey my way along, but I always listened to KONP and I thought, what would it be like to work down there?
So back then, even then, were you spinning records?
We had, everything was on tape.
Okay,
there.
that's what I would have guessed.
Now,
okay.
KONP, when I first came to work then, was spinning records still. And used cassettes, of all things. It was the only radio station in the country, probably the world, that used modified cassette tapes for all of their commercials. And they took the leader off of them so that you would put them in the deck, and as soon as you hit start, they'd just play. There was no... So that was kind of a unique, funky thing. The previous owner, George Buck, came up with this. I think it was a way to save money because he didn't want to buy the expensive ITC cart machines.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought it was the strangest, weirdest thing ever because I was used to the cart machines. We had those at Cappy and all of that. But anyway, I learned a whole bunch of things. But always, as soon as I came to work at KONP, it was really much more community embraced. You could just feel it. It had a whole different vibe to it. And part of it has to do with when you're the original, when you've been here the longest, you've established yourself. And in broadcast, it's always kind of tough to take on the gorilla.
Sure.
At times. And that was it. But anyway, that's how I got started. So I was just kind of filling in here and there and, went to college, came back, I did news and things, but was kind of trained up at 1290 a.m. and doing all of the news, all of the other things, and then that led me into what I'm doing now. So.
Of course, and I do remember Cappy, and of course for our listeners, when we say a daytime-only station, that had to do with a regulation that the FCC had. You know more about this than I do, Todd. But truly, once the sun went down, you had to be off the air, and you couldn't come back on the air until the sun came up again because there was some sort of an interference.
It had to do because you were protecting other stations that were on those frequencies that had, clear channel skywave capabilities, that sort of thing. It really was a way that the FCC got more local radio stations on the air.
Right.
They permitted these daytime only ones. And, it's an interesting thing. Soon after I left Cappy, they went 24 hours a day because the FCC changed its rule and let daytimers go down to a very, very, very small wattage. And you'd think, oh, well, that's not worth it. But it actually was enough that they could still cover Port Angeles pretty well at night. They just couldn't get much out like they did during the middle of the day.
Because that frequency would actually have more reach at nighttime.
Yep.
And so then it could creep into and have some overlap into some other markets. Right. And so by reducing that wattage, they truly just restricted to the very, very, very small, if you will, zip code they were in.
I always tell people the most ironic thing maybe for me is that we eventually moved our KONP's transmitter site to Cappy's old transmitter site. So we are actually broadcasting for the last, it's been 10 years almost now, at their old
on Melody Lane, and
Melody
that would be
Lane,
up on Golf Course Road.
And I go up there, and I remember I used to have to go tromp through the swamp there every night because part of the sign-off at night when I was doing that night shift is I had to go out to the base of the towers and do these special readings because it was a requirement of a daytime station to do it. And I kind of chuckle now when I go up there now, and I think, I remember the days where I had there were boots that were in the studio, and you put those on, you took them out. And anyway, good times. But glad that I landed where I did because it's been a good fit.
And you basically went to college, Todd, with, if you will, broadcast in mind, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I didn't think I was going to come back here and do this. So I went to Washington State University. I went to Peninsula College, first of all, and then I went to WSU and got a degree in broadcast news and thought I was going to do television.
And you did for a very brief time.
Yeah, but you know what? I hated it. I loved the radio thing. I had it ended up every little market that I was at, I found all my radio friends. I'd go hang out at their radio stations. And then I finally said to my wife, I got to find my way back into this somehow, because I'm done having to wear a tie every day and, and doing all of the picture stuff. I want to be back on the radio. And there's a saying, it does get in your blood. And there's certain people that are in this business, they understand that. So yeah, that's the whole thing. But you know what? I'm glad it all worked out the way it did. So, and I'm glad KONP has worked out the way it has too, because 80 years is a long
And I know
journey.
when we started out 80 years ago today, February 3rd, that day I remember being told, in fact, it's in a book, we can talk about that just for half a minute, maybe when we come back for a break, because there weren't any commercial breaks that first day. There wasn't one commercial break.
Nothing was sold.
Well, it was about celebrating that we were on the air. And then, but of course, we have to have commercials, and we appreciate that's also an opportunity to be community. Because so many of our commercials and our advertisers, I want to say thank you, because we would not be here without you. And thank you for trusting us to help promote and bring you business.
Absolutely.
It's hopefully, and I think it is a wonderful, workable two-way street.
Well, speaking of which, maybe we'll do a couple of those messages. All right. We'll come back. We'll talk more about 80 years of KONP. We'll talk about this book, too, because it's a great book that Brown actually had written a few years ago, but it's a terrific book about the history of media here in the North Olympic Peninsula. More on that when we return.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
What would you rather have, pizza or wings? Order both with Pizza Hut's original stuffed crust pizza and wings bundle for just $19.99. An unbeatable value to feed the whole crew. The original stuffed crust pizza bundled with boneless wings that are kitchen fried, not oven dried. Tossed in your choice of 9 flavors, all for just $19.99. Order on the app or at pizzahut.com today. No one out pizzas the Hut.
Hello, this is Port Commissioner Colleen McAleer. The Port of Port Angeles is proud to recognize the North Olympic Peninsula's accomplishment in being named one of 6 finalists for the nationwide Recompete Grant Program. Our region has secured $35 million to bring new jobs and training opportunities to citizens of Clallam and Jefferson counties, including in the marine trades, natural resources, construction, and more. Recompete's goal is to create new paths to high-quality jobs, helping areas like ours that have lost major industries make a comeback. The region-wide Recompete Coalition is working hard to create a more prosperous future where anyone can succeed and provide for their families. We're moving forward with the 21st century innovations that first made our region strong, from jobs on the water to jobs in the woods. Stay tuned for more updates from the Port and our Recompete partners on how to get involved.
The 2025 KONP Home Show is back. We are now accepting vendor applications for the largest 2-day marketing event on the peninsula. Put your business in the middle of thousands of potential clients. Booths starting at under $500. The KONP Home Show will be Saturday and Sunday, March 8th and 9th, 2025. Sign up now for best locations and to lock in the lower rates. Call 360-457-1450 and get your space for the 40th annual KONP Home Show, March 8th and 9th.
Stop by Paua Treasure Trap. We're located in the front of Easy Pond in downtown Port Angeles. We have a fun selection of gifts to choose from. Everything from our best-selling leather journals to anime figures and fun pop culture gifts. We also have hard-to-find collectible swords for fantastic displays. And you've got to check out our adult humor section in our front mezzanine that's full of not safe for work gag gifts guaranteed to spark laughter. Easy Pond in downtown Port Angeles.
Well, welcome back. It is our 80th birthday, or our 80th anniversary of being on the air at KONP. It was on this date in 1945, 6:30 a.m. We flipped the switch, as they like to say, although we have to technically had been on the air a couple times before that because they did some testing. But today marks the first official day of broadcasting.
Yes.
Just a couple of notes. You know, did you know you probably know this, but you know what's unique about what we broadcast from that first day?
When you broadcast from, specifically?
As in the antenna.
Oh, yeah, I'd heard about that. Go ahead. Tell me. Remind me.
180-foot solid spruce tree.
Yeah.
It was brought in from out in Indian Valley. And now in those days, this is the 1940s, and the road was not quite what it was to get things in, and they had to... From what I understand, and Sandy Keys is going to be with us tomorrow, and he may give us a little more info on this because he's the historian, but it took like two different log trucks to maneuver this big beast of a tree in so they could then paint it, because it had to have red and white stripes on it, and then erect the thing. They ran a wire up it, and that was the antenna for KONP. It had a red beacon on the top, too.
And that beacon is right out there, of course.
Well, not that very one, but one like that.
Most
people remember.
Of the years.
And then, and then that tower, that's the top of that tower, replaced that big old tree in the 1960s.
And speaking of stories like that, Todd, because it's really our birthday week, we really would encourage any listeners, if you have some little story, and there are many out there, that you'd like to call, and you could just talk to Doreen at the front desk, or of course you could just, in our website, you can just email that to us, and every morning at 8:30 in the morning, we're going to make some little reference this week at the 8:30 show, and we'd love to... and if you can, give us your name, or at least your initials, and give us a little story. That would be wonderful.
And we got one earlier today. I just want to point this out because it also emphasizes not only were we great service to the Port Angeles area, we have a ton of Victoria listeners. And I hear from Victoria listeners all the time. Like we over here listen to Canadian radio to kind of get their take on things. They over there listen to us to get the American take on things.
Of course. I think one of the biggest things they listen to, because I want to hear that story, but I can tell you ABC News, because they'll want to hear, sometimes we hear the CBC, they want to hear some national news that's based in the United States, what we're saying, and then also the Seattle Mariners, particularly when they play the Toronto Blue Jays.
Absolutely. I think our Mariner listenership is probably higher in Victoria most of the time than it is here. I'm joking. No, we got a lovely little email from John Bruzas, who's in Victoria, and said, happy anniversary, KONP. Congrats on 80 years of broadcasting. We hope you continue for 80 years more.
And on that same vein, speaking of Canada, on that very first day, 80 years ago today, CJVI, if you're a local resident, been here for any amount of time, you certainly recognize those call letters. CJVI called in that day, didn't they, Todd?
They did. They helped launch the station. In fact, I think it may have been technically the first DJ on the air was actually a Victoria DJ, getting us on the air and launching things before we went out on our own. So it would be interesting. I wish we would have had film from back then. It would have been neat to see visually what was going on. But we got a few.
We do have so much history, particularly with Sandy and Scooters. Yeah. Scooter started with us in the 50s. Sandy in 1962, and I'm so glad Sandy's going to be here tomorrow, because Sandy's got some great stories, and I could say one or two. And even if I said one or two of his stories, it wouldn't take a thing away from Sandy, because he has so many. But I know Sandy started in 1962, and he actually was at the county fair. Yes, we were broadcasting from the county fair even then, the Clallam County Fair. And Sandy went up to the booth and got talking to the person, whoever it was there, and Sandy said, that person you had on the air, whoever that was, he sure butchered this, whatever it was he was talking about. And they said to Sandy, well, if you think you can do better, why don't you show up next week? And he did.
And that's the rest of the story, I know. And here he is still.
He couldn't say pished out there. That's what it was.
You're right. I remember the story now. I forgot that was the word.
Bumbling,
He still calls people on things he hears on the air, by the way.
And Sandy, of course, he's been with us for over 50 years, but part-time because his number one vocation, if you will, he was a teacher for 30 years at the high school. And anybody who's had Sandy Keys will tell you that he, by any measure, was always their favorite teacher. Great storyteller. Tomorrow, Sandy Keys, same place, 1 o'clock, 105, right here on KONP.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Your book. Real quick, let's talk about that, because it's got all of this info in it and a lot more.
Well, I'll try to be quick on this, but yes, since I've been involved here with the media for 40 years, even when I went to Peninsula College, my first part-time job in the media was in the circulation department at was it the Evening News back then? It might have been. This would have been, or the Port Angeles Daily News, it might have been called. But this would have been in the late 70s, if you will. But of course, I eventually worked my way up to ownership, owning the Sequim Gazette and the Forks Forum, and having the radio station here. And I realized when we were getting to be our 75th anniversary, I thought, especially having Scooter and Sandy, I thought, I want to capture so much of the history. I want to capture so much of the history. I could almost write a small book. And then I got really thinking about, well, not just the history of KONP, but I myself have been involved with the newspapers here on the Olympic Peninsula, and I have access to so many people. I mean, between Frank Duchesky and John Brewer, and even the history that we could actually and of course knowing Frank Garrett and Scott Wilson and Port Townsend. I should establish or put together a book, or underwrite a book, if you will, on media on the Olympic Peninsula. And it was just a matter of finding the author, which I did with Bill Lindstrom, a reporter who'd been a reporter at the Aberdeen Daily World and the Peninsula Daily News. Did a wonderful job. But he did a very, very deep dive. But I also told Bill, I just don't want to make it about us, because what we do, all of us in the field of media, is we cover news as it happens. We've got a front row seat on news as it's happened over the last 100 years. And that book is called Straight Press. Got about 140, 150 pictures in it. Swains, if they still have any after Christmas, I don't know if they do. Port Book and News has it. We have them down here. But Straight Press, and it really is as much a book on history in the two-county area here, Jefferson County and Clallam County, as it is about media as well. And it's not a book, if you had it, you'd have to read it straight through. You could just pick and choose, because there's different, you might just want to read, about Forks and the newspaper over there, and you might be from Forks. There's a complete about 40, 50 pages just on broadcasts. There's about 100 pages on Jefferson County. And of course, not surprising, there's about 200, 250 pages on Clallam County. A lot of history in that. And Sandy had a fair amount to do with that as well.
Yeah, it's a great book. And it really is a history book. Yeah. Not just of this press, but of the things going on. A lot about the park being formed, a lot about all of the things that nuanced the news in those days. Yeah,
there's a separate chapter just on the formation of Olympic National Park, because it's been here so long, people just think, oh yeah, okay, it's here. But you don't realize that the idea of the parks first started in the teens. Now, it didn't come online until the 30s. But it took about 20 years, and neighbor against neighbor, and campaigning back in Washington, D.C., people for it, people against it, thinking it's going to be the end of any economic livelihood here no, not at all. I mean, logging still happened. It took a spotted owl and other things, a few more decades of environmental regulations to hurt logging, but it certainly had nothing to do with the national park. And so, but there's a whole chapter on that as well.
Which brings it full circle. This is a perfect way to wrap this up. ONP stands for Olympic National Park. Mm-hmm. The reason is not that the park formed us or did anything else with this radio station. Charles Herring, who was the publisher and the owner of the Evening News in those days, or Webster's. Yeah, I'm sorry, Herring. That's a whole other story. You got me on my Cappy thing. He owned. Yes, the Webster's anyways. Charles decided this new thing called AM radio should come to Port Angeles, and he really lobbied for it. And then he decided, he was a big supporter of the park being formed. And in 1938, That's a key date. The park was established, and then we were applied for, and he said, I want it to be called KONP, as in Olympic National Park, because I think it'll be a nice little...
exactly right, Todd.
Little hanger-on, if you will, and the rest is history, as they say. So, but... like many things, we also were delayed getting on the air because of the war and some other stuff that happened. But anyway, so all week we'll be kind of saluting us a little bit. And Brown, thanks for coming in.
And saluting the community for saying thank you and supporting us as well.
Absolutely, because we couldn't do this if they weren't out there tuning into us and supporting all that we do. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Todd Ortloff now with a word for Olympic Peninsula title. They don't just have customers, they have raving fans. Yeah, for over 40 years, they've been earning the repeat business of their customers by treating them with respect, delivering what they promise, prioritizing the security of customers' funds and information, and always providing service with a smile. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title and see for yourself why they've earned over 500 five-star reviews, and they've been voted best title company in Clallam County over and over again.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Workers at the U.S. Foreign Aid Agency have been told to stay home. Elon Musk says he's shutting the agency down to cut billions of dollars in government spending. President Trump.
It's something that he feels very strongly about, and I'm impressed because he's running, obviously, a big company. It has nothing to do, if there's a conflict, that we won't let him get near it.
Musk has been given access to the federal payment system, which includes personal information on hundreds of millions of Americans. The U.S. and Mexican presidents agree to put tariffs on each other's goods on hold for a month. Mexico agrees to send troops to the border to intercept more illegal drugs and migrants. While overseeing Super Bowl security in New Orleans, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
We're going to do our very best to make sure that we're identifying homegrown terrorism as well. That's the one thing that overwhelmingly has happened in this country is we've seen a rise in events like this where the individual was actually an American citizen.
A roller coaster day on Wall Street. This is ABC News.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. A winter weather advisory continues until 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Snow likely, eventually changing to rain this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 35. Northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Chance for rain mixing with then changing to snow. Lows level off around 24. A mix of rain and snow possible at times. Tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 34. Cloudy skies expected. 1 to 3 inches of snow today through Wednesday night. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 34.
And we're back on the TO show. Going to switch gears a bit now and talk about what's happening at Field Hall in downtown Port Angeles. We have the executive director of Field Arts and Events Hall, Steve Rader Ginsburg, joining us on the phone. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Todd. Great to be talking to you today.
We've got lots lined up coming up soon. You're kind of getting back into being busy again there at Field Hall. So let's get to it. I know you want to talk about a couple of shows in the next few weeks that folks may want to know about.
Well, I'll say if you're looking for something to do on Valentine's Day, a lot of people are. So we have a couple of shows on Friday the 14th and Friday the 15th. Now, they're pretty much sold out because, but there's a few tickets left for each. So if you want to do that, but we have somebody called Chris Funk, and he's redefining wonder. He's performed on America's Got Talent and Penn and Teller, Fool Us, and Masters of Illusion, as well as Sci-Fi's Wizard Wars. Mm-hmm. So quite the accolades for this young guy who does magic, illusions, and plays live instruments, the violin, the guitar, and the sax, and he incorporates that into his magic show.
So that's kind of like a one-stop shop if you want to come to a show, right?
Yeah,
you're going to get music,
you kind of want to see everything, and if you want to see everything, including levitation,
that's it.
you can do that. And and then we have something called International Guitar Night, which is a nationally touring act, and it was started 25 years ago from a guy named Brian Gore, who's a Portland-based singer-songwriter. But what Brian does is identifies some of the most innovative and exceptional guitar players, real virtuosos from around the world, gathers a slate of them every year and then tours them for 3 months of the year. So they're stopping in Port Angeles, and we have guitarists from Germany and Britain and the Democratic Republic of Congo coming on in and really performing some remarkable varied styles from classical to contemporary guitar.
Yeah,
and global work like this Congolese percussive style from Newell Sumba.
And that's what I was going to say, is that this is a chance for you to catch some guitar style you may never, ever see, especially in Port Angeles.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And some of the people might have seen earlier this year a performer named Luca, which had a double-headed guitar. The Juan de Fuca Festival for the Arts brought them in, or Juan de Fuca Foundation for the Arts brought them in. They performed at the high school for a 1,000 students, and the picture was in the paper. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. He was in this show last year as a guitarist.
So that shows you then the caliber we're talking about that's going to be coming here as well. I believe I'm going to be talking with the folks from International Guitar Night in the next couple of days on my show, on this show.
Excellent.
So we'll have a chance to that. But here's the deal: the show is selling out as well. So if either of those grab you should probably run over to your website right now and try to secure a ticket.
It's moving fast, and we're working on some, because we do food and drink before the show. We are working on where we're going to try to make some Valentine's specials, so you'll be able to make a whole night of it.
All right. Now, if maybe music on the big screen grabs you, you also have Amadeus coming up in your films this week or this month.
We do. This is a great partnership. We are looking as a North Olympic Peninsula arts anchor and really collaborating with other arts organizations. This one's with the Olympic Music Festival out of Port Townsend. So prior to the movie Amadeus, which had a major impact on me, and I think it's one of the reasons I'm in the arts, but I saw this when I was so young. And artistic director Julio Elizalde is going to be giving a lecture called The Life and Legacy of Mozart. So if you'd like to see that, you come early at 1 o'clock. If you're just interested in the movie, come later, but I hope you do come and listen to Julio.
Absolutely. And Amadeus is a great movie. It's hard to believe it's as old as it is, but it is a terrific movie. It still holds its own. Yeah.
I don't think it will ever not feel of the moment. It is so vibrant and so good, and the music is so powerful.
Absolutely. And then one last note, and then we're going to talk about some bigger scheme things happening with Field Hall, but you got Nat Geo Live coming back again this month.
So we committed to 3 explorers to come through the National Geographic Foundation to share their work with us in Port Angeles. They come through, and it's part of what is a remarkable effort by the foundation. And by them coming here and us purchasing tickets, it helps support the work of National Geographic and the important scientific work that's happening. So the explorer who's coming is Nalani Nadkarni. She just wrote a new book, and so the book will be available, and Port Book and News will have it in our lobby, and she'll be signing it afterwards. But she studies the life of the trees. She looks at forest ecosystems from the roots to the canopy, and she's going to be talking about human history and trees and how important sources of sustenance and protection and wonder for the human race that trees have allowed us over our growing up together here on Earth.
You know, it's fabulous. So these Nat Geo talks are, I can't even describe how, it's like a TED Talk, but on steroids, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and of course they have the backing of the National Geographic photographers,
and it's beautiful,
and videographers.
Right. So you get great pictures and videos and all of that. Yeah.
You know, let people know that this series, we are dedicating 20% of the proceeds to donate to local environmental groups, because we live in such a special region that we, of course, want to see it preserved and have the beauty for as long as possible. And so our 20% of the proceeds from this performance will go to Nature Bridge Olympic. And so Nature Bridge right there at Lake Crescent will be supported by this. And they do so much terrific education for the youth in our area.
All right, so everybody needs to just hop over to the Field Hall and Events website, check out those events and more coming up. I want to tease a little bit. Our sister station is back in action with you in March with a pretty big name coming to town for country fans out there. You want to talk about that for a minute?
That's right. Sure, definitely. That is Ty Herndon, who had some major hits in the 90s. And from what everyone's told me in the country world, the 90s is back. And so we were looking at these 90s stars. We had Jamie O'Neill last year. And actually, Jamie and Ty Herndon perform a lot together. And so Jamie O'Neill recently called and said, hey, Ty, you see Ty Herndon's coming back, and I'm such a big fan of his, and it was just real nice to hear that Port Angeles is sort of getting on the country radar for folks.
Ty Herndon had a string of hits through the 90s, and he's still going strong. And so that's March 22nd, correct? Is that right? Did I get the right number?
Yeah.
I was looking at my calendar. It's not flipped over to February, so I'm sorry. That was a good guess, wasn't it? Tickets are still available, but you want to grab them while you can, varying amounts. But our sister station, the Straight 102.1, is helping present that. It's the third and final segment in our Straight Country series this year with Field Hall, which has been pretty successful. We've had a nice little run again this year, I think.
Yeah, a great run. And, of course, our local favorite, Amanda Bacon, holding it down.
She tinseled and twanged herself right through December, so that was very nice.
This is just to correct the date. It's a Thursday, and it's March 13th.
13th, yes.
Is when Ty Herndon.
I was a week off. I knew I was off. Yeah, this is what happens when I don't have my calendar right in front of me. All right. All the same, get over there and get a ticket.
I try to get out there and see everything I can before it arrives, just to make sure. I talk to the artist, I see the work. We're careful about who we bring into town and who we put on our stage, and make sure they're quality people, quality musicians. And Ty Herndon was outstanding. I mean, it is a remarkably memorable show that he is such a performer.
Yeah, he's very good, and I know a number of folks who've seen him in the past, and all have said best show they've ever seen. So I think we're in for a treat in Port Angeles, bringing him here as well. We're going to be talking more about some other things happening in the spring, because my plan is to get Steve on regularly to chat up these shows as they come a little bit closer as they go. Before we run out of time, though, I want to talk a little bit about big picture stuff. What's happening at Field Hall, aside from great shows and things? It's always a moving target to keep things fresh and vibrant there. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, we are doing we've created 2 free events that happen regularly. So every other Monday night, and so next Monday, not tonight, but on the 10th, and then every other Monday from that, we have an open mic series. And so you can come down, and you don't have to be a musician. You could be a storyteller, a comedian. You could be a juggler, a magician, whatever your budding talent is. Come down to open mic and share. It's been tremendously supportive group and quite large, so you can show your talents off to a big group of people.
Yeah, I'm talking. There's hundreds of people showed up to that, folks. It's a happening thing.
Yeah, it's about 120 people on average. So it's a rush to perform and get down there. And we have a great sound system set up, and it's a really nice scene. We also do free jazz on Sundays, the first Sunday of the month. Yesterday was our jazz. We had a group called Duende Libre who really just knocked everyone's socks off. It was a terrific show. And next month on March, we have March 2nd is going to be a celebration of women jazz artists in the area, and that's led by Jessie Lee. So Jessie Lee and Sarah Shea, Amelia Right Up, and Olga Palenga and Tess Teal are going to all be performing vocalists there.
And that'll be the first Sunday in March, right?
First Sunday of the month in March.
Okay.
And outside of that, our conference center is getting pretty busy. You know, people are really starting to come in. Weddings are being booked. Foundations and galas are having fundraisers. We have the PA Symphony fundraiser coming up on March 15th. The Juan de Fuca Foundation for the Arts is happening on February 22nd. The Marine Discovery Center is happening in May, and that is that's May 9th. So these dates and organizations are really putting on some great events. We're so proud to be able to help support them and produce these with them as well. And like PA City Ballet is bringing Swan Lake, and so working with Kate Robbins is a dream, and the quality of people that she brings in is fantastic. So I think the big picture is we are seeing so much engagement, so much desire to use the space. And even statewide, the Washington Association of Superior Court Law Clerks are coming to spend 4 days, and the Washington Association of Fire Investigators are coming in. So I like it that people are starting to see our building and really wanting to be in Port Angeles.
And like most things, as we all know, when we first got to experience that beautiful facility, the word will get out even more, and I think you'll see even more of these groups start to want to come and use it.
Mm. Yeah, it's keeping us busy. That's for sure. There's no rest for the weary for the staff of Field Hall.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure. For folks locally, too, that maybe still don't realize that, they've got a wedding reception or they have some sort of even a smaller gathering, you guys can accommodate all sorts of groups there, right?
We can. Different rooms, different size rooms, different areas of the building, and that's for sure. And we also launched something. We launched it kind of quietly, so I can announce it here. But if you go to our ticketing website and there's a financial barrier to getting into any of our shows, we have been supported by some donors, and as we are a nonprofit, and so we are using the funds that we receive to put right back into the organization. And we have a financial assistance form. If there is somebody, a listener out there, or somebody that you might know who wants to see some of these performances but think that there's a financial barrier, on our website there's a financial assistance form. You just tell us what you need, and we are going to try to accomplish supporting you with that purchase and getting you in the theater.
Excellent. Real quick, we talk a lot about performance arts and events and things. What about your visual art display? What's going on down there now and downstairs?
Oh, great question. Just opened up last week, a new show called Life Force, and the story is really, really sweet. There's a woman named Carolyn Watts and a woman named Tracy Grisman, and they became friends as artists, painting. They have very different styles, but lived about a couple of blocks from each other. Started to see each other at art galleries and art openings, and saw each other's work. And one is pretty, one features Tracy Grisman's work features on musicians a lot, and Carolyn Watts, her work was, she was a phlebotomist and looked in the microscope a lot, so she worked at this kind of molecular level. And the two of them, their friendship is the reason why they're paired together. Carolyn Watts unfortunately passed away 4 months ago due to dementia and Alzheimer complications. And this is a real homage to their friendship and their artists inspiring each other. And that opened last week, but it's open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 2, so people can come down and see the work.
And it's one of those free events that's happening at the Field Hall, too. Show up during those times. You can take a look for yourself, grab a coffee while you're down there, a few other things. There's lots going on at Field Hall.
Yeah, enjoy the lobby, enjoy the view, and enjoy the artwork up on display.
Love it. Steve, it's always great to talk to you. We're going to make this a regular habit, as I mentioned. And when other things come up, we'll get you back in quick as well, all right?
All right. Thank you so much, Todd.
You got
Great to be on.
You got it. Steve Rader Ginsburg there. He's the executive director at Field Arts and Events Hall. Lots of great things are happening there at Field Hall. including some really great shows that are tight on tickets. If you'd like to go check them out and get a ticket while you can, I suggest you get over to their website as quick as you can. That's fieldhallevents.org, and secure your spot before they run out. We're going to take a break. We'll wrap things up on our show right after this.
This is the...
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Building a future, sharing a dream. Working together, we're on the same team.
Are you tired of paying high interest rates on your consumer loans? Look no further than Straight View Credit Union. We're proud to offer the best consumer loan rates in Clallam County, so you can borrow what you need without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking to purchase a new car, make home improvements, or consolidate debt, we've got you covered. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you through the loan process and help you find a payment plan that works for your budget. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we prioritize your financial well-being over profits. Join us today and experience the Straight View Credit Union difference. Visit us online at svcu.com or in person to apply for your consumer loan today. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
When the seasons change, so do the needs for your home and property projects. Finding help can feel overwhelming, but at Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel's, your favorite employee-owned stores, we make it easy, something you won't find at big box stores. With our carefully selected monthly specials, we offer all-month savings on products you need for this season. This February, we're featuring the new, highly anticipated Makita storage system, MacTrack, now 10% off for February. Made in the USA, this mobile tool storage is built to provide easy access to tools and designed to keep those on the go organized. Save 10 to 40% off on our other deals on paint supplies, select Makita tools, PVC piping, and more. For more information or to shop online now, visit lumbertraders.com. As always, we deeply appreciate you for shopping local and employee-owned.
Checkup on Health presented by Olympic Medical Center.
Checkup on Health with Chris Whitting.
Italians don't have heart attacks. Italian Americans do. Japanese don't have heart attacks. Japanese Americans do. Now, either our genes changed when we crossed the water or something else changed.
Joe Piscatella underwent emergency bypass surgery at age 32 and has spent 4 decades since then coaching others on healthy lifestyle choices. He says attitude can make all the difference after bypass surgery.
The mental aspect is what keeps you doing what you know to be the right thing for your health. It's not the falling down that is the disaster. It's not getting up. That's the failure. When you get up, you can fall down as many times as you need to, but it's continuing to get up. And that all starts in your mind with a positive mindset. To center your mind, have a positive mind, and it translates into actions that benefit your heart every single day.
With Checkup on Health, I'm Chris Whitting.
Does your Happy New Year come with happy news of a baby on the way? At Olympic Medical Center, our labor and delivery team gives moms a birth experience they'll cherish. Choose from experienced obstetricians or certified nurse midwives to tailor your birthing experience to you and your baby. Labor and delivery at OMC, a delivery designed with you. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/baby.
At the Lodge at Sherwood Village in Sequim, you can enjoy the freedom of month-to-month rent in an upscale retirement community. The Lodge offers both cottages and apartments, and you'll be able to choose your new home based on your specific needs. The cottages offer a more independent living style, with our apartments offering additional services, with 3 daily meals, weekly housekeeping, and transportation, among other services. Call us and schedule your tour today at the Lodge at Sherwood Village, 681-3100.
If it's time for new asphalt paving for your dirt, gravel, or damaged driveway, now's the time to call Lakeside Industries for a free estimate. They've been serving this community since 1982 with city, county, and highway projects, of course. But did you know that they do residential and commercial grading, paving, and stormwater too? Well, they're scheduling spring and summer jobs right now, and no job is too small. Just call Lakeside Industries 452-7803 or lakesideindustries.com.
News Radio KONP Port Angeles Squim, serving the Olympic Peninsula now for 80 years. A Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. President Trump says he will pause tariffs on Mexico for a month. The president says Mexico will reinforce the U.S.-Mexico border with 10,000 National Guard troops immediately. ABC's Matt Rivers is in Mexico City.
And this was the off-ramp that so many people had been hoping for, this phone call between President Trump and President Sheinbaum scheduled before she was scheduled to give her press conference. And I think both sides are going to take this as a win. President Sheinbaum saying that they had a constructive phone call, President Trump saying the same thing, and they were able to reach an agreement to pause these tariffs for 1 month.
Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau also just announced tariffs will be postponed by at least 30 days. Workers at the U.S. Agency for International Development, which funds humanitarian work, were told to stay home. Elon Musk, who heads the Department of Government Efficiency, says he's shutting the agency down, vowing to cut trillions of dollars in government spending. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says he's now in charge of USAID, aiming to bring a rogue agency